Welcome back, everyone. So today I'm doing another video on chocolate covered strawberries, and these are kind of Oreo chocolate covered strawberries. So I wanted to explain the process. Zaddy's right here with me. First, I wanted to start with how I clean my strawberries. So how I clean them is I get a bowl of cold water and I kind of fill it maybe 3/4 of the way, and then I dump my strawberries in there. Well, wait, rewind. I don't put the strawberries in yet. I put baking soda. I don't measure it, but I put baking soda and some vinegar in the water, and then I dump my strawberries in there, and I kind of dunk them in there just to make sure they're all covered. And then after that, I let them sit for about 15-20 minutes. Then I pour the dirty water out, and I just let the water run on cold water over the strawberries. And then I dry them off like I'm doing right now. And the chocolate that I used, I can't pronounce it, but I can say I have been really enjoying using it because it doesn't have the smell of candy melts to me, and I don't have to add any vegetable shortening or any vegetable oil to it. So I've been using it a lot. If I had enough if I had enough oil-based coloring, I would be using it a lot more. But I really like it. So I can put a link to it in the description box below. And now back onto my process. So I'm patting this down just a little bit more, just to make sure that they're completely dry, because I don't want them to be wet when I dip them into the chocolate, because I don't want my chocolate to start seizing up. Even though it could be a little hot, I just don't want that. So I'm patting them dry again, and I'm inserting in my toothpicks. I was seeing like how I liked it. So I did 1 toothpick on some of them and 2 toothpicks on the others. I really like how the 2 toothpicks feel. I feel like I have better control. Whereas with when you just use 1 and you dip it, sometimes it just spins when you're shaking off the chocolate. So to me, the 2 just gives me a little bit more stability, and I'm able to have more control over my strawberries. These were really good strawberries that I have found. The leaves were nice, and I don't know, I just really like these. I recently did some chocolate covered strawberries for Valentine's Day, and it was kind of hard picking them because it just, it's not, I don't think it's strawberry season. So they were on sale, but before that they were like $5. So always make sure when you pick strawberries, you don't see any moldy ones. Sometimes it's inevitable because it's the one in the middle that's the moldy one that you can't see, but just try your hardest. And my mom always tells me, whenever you pick strawberries, make sure you can smell them, because otherwise, they might not be good. So I'm still, like I said, patting them dry, and this is wax paper that I'm using. I like to use wax paper because to me, when they dry, it's better than putting it on a paper towel or a paper plate. It gives me a larger surface, and I can use as much wax paper as I need. It's also really good for cleanup, because once I'm done, I just wrap everything in the wax paper and throw it in the trash. I really don't have excess chocolate, because when I do my drizzle, I do it over my chocolate that's already melted. So that also helps. All right. And some of the not all of these came in 1 container. I actually had cleaned some off the day before, and I had used those. They were from 2 containers. So now you see I crushed up some Oreos. What I did was I put the Oreos in a Ziploc bag, and I used a rolling pin First, I rolled over them, and after I rolled over them, then I smashed them with the rolling pin, and that's how I got them to get that small. If I would have done it, I could have used a food processor, but I just decided to do it by hand, and then I just added it to my white chocolate, and now I am dipping. You see, I do have some chunks, but it's not that bad. They're not as large. As I had a little mishap when I was putting that chocolate into a piping bag, because as you see how big the chunks are, that cannot go through a small piping bag hole. So I kept, whenever I would try and do my drizzle, a little chunk would get caught in the hole, and I'd be trying to squeeze and squeeze, or I'd try and like smash it down, and then I'd get to another one. So I just forgot the whole idea and just used some white chocolate and just remelted some. I was really just trying not to melt more chocolate. I just remelted some, and then I used that white chocolate for my drizzle. Another thing, when I'm dipping my strawberries, I try to get as high up on the strawberry as possible, not really leaving any area for you to see the chocolate, just to get it all the way up. To me, that looks a little bit more appealing the higher up you get on the strawberry, but that's just me. And I also I dunk it just because how I dip my strawberries, depending on the vessel that I'm using, like how I'm using this bowl, and I kind of have it tilted, I swirl them around just because I like that way, and I feel like instead of me dunking it, it's a little bit easier. But when I know when I was using a cup I think I used a cup for Valentine's Day, it was, I was dunking them, and it worked fine also. So it really just depends on what vessel you're using to dip your chocolate, which will determine how you're going to dip your chocolate covered strawberries. Another thing, you want to shake as much off as you can, because if you don't, you'll have this pool of chocolate on the sides of your strawberries, not on the bottom, because you didn't shake off all the excess, and it allows the strawberries to leak because you didn't cover up that. But if you shake as much off, you really don't have that much of a pool on the sides. It's more, you really don't even have a pool, actually. It's going to be flat on the bottom, but it's not like it would be. Another thing that you could do if you don't like that, instead of using toothpicks, you could use skewers, or you could use wooden dowels that have a sharpened edge. Stick a sharpened point, stick that into your strawberries, and then you could use like some floral foam. And once you're done dipping them, like I'm dipping them right now, instead of laying them down on their sides, you would poke a hole in the floral foam and allow the strawberries to rest that way, which would make it easier, and it would make it a little more aesthetically appealing, because they would be completely covered. No, you wouldn't be able to see where you laid it down. So that's another way. And say you did lay them down and you do have the pool on the bottom, another thing you could do is another thing you could do, I'm probably repeating a little bit, but once you lay them down and they're dry, you can use a piping bag, put some white chocolate in the piping bag, and then where the strawberry is exposed on the bottom, like how I'm adding my white chocolate to the piping bag right now, put it where the strawberry is exposed on the bottom, and that will help cover up that leaking. So I didn't do that in this video. I know for Valentine's Day I did it, and it actually it worked. So that's another idea. Now I'm doing my drizzle. I really loved how my drizzles have been coming out, because I have been, like I said, my chocolate's the right consistency and it looks really smooth. Excuse me. So, and I start from the bottom. Sometimes I start from the top. It really just depends on how I'm feeling. And the piping bags I'm using, I got them off of Amazon. And they're 16-inch piping bags, and they're pipeless. Okay. And this is what they look like at the end. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, anything, just put it in the comment section below, or you can email me. Thank you guys. See you next time.